Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for an experience like no other. Tune in every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for The Mary D. Show, where the ordinary meets the extraordinary. The Mary D. Show brings you powerful insights and inspiring stories from a diverse range of guests. Join our incredible host, Mary D. Welch, as she sits down with thought leaders, business owners, and changemakers, sharing their journeys and successes. From career professionals and entrepreneurs to educators and beauty advisors, Mary D. Welch interviews sports figures and health enthusiasts, offering a platform for extraordinary voices. Explore the world of extraordinary people and places in business and finance, homes and real estate, beauty and wellness, education and empowerment, sports and health, and more. Want to be a guest on the show? Call 619-669-8603 or email marydwelch.com. Visit www.marydwelch.com to learn more.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mary D Show. I want to first make sure, I don't know, I know you guys are like, what is she talking about? I'm just making sure that I'm live on another platform. So I'm kind of looking around to see that I'm like, I can't tell, but it says that I am. So anyway, welcome to the Mary D Show. For those of you, this is your first time being here, my name is Mary D Welch, and I welcome you. I like to welcome my live viewers. Hi, live viewers. Then I like to welcome our replay viewers. Hi, replay viewers, because even though you may not see the show live, you guys are still there and you still support. I also like to welcome to say hi to our executive producer, Oliver Welch, my husband. Hi, babe. He's in the background, as many of you know, but he's always there. So don't ever think that, he's like, where's Oliver? He'll be here on Christmas. Now he's coming on. And I usually have one of the grandkids or the kids, they'll come on too. And they like to for you to meet them. I don't know which one. I have no idea who's going to be on this year, but I'll just have them on for you. So, ladies and gentlemen, today is a one-on-one. And as many of you if you've never been here before, you're going to say, well, what does that mean? That means that it's me and you. Videos coming to the show, meaning a lot of times you'll notice I have guest speakers that come on, and sometimes I don't. So it's so interesting to me sometimes when there's shows when it's just me and you, and I look back on the show and I go, why is there so many people watching when it's just me and the audience? And I think it's because that's an intimate show. That's what I think it is. Anytime it's just the two of us, it creates an intimacy. And so I think I'm sitting here, like I said, I'm doing a couple of things, but it's saying that it's on there. But anyway, I'm gonna stay focused. So today I wanted some things I wanted to talk to you about or share. No, what I say talk to you about. I want your opinion about some things because you are so. I don't have to just say important. The show exists because of you. It exists because of you. When it started, how many years ago now? Oh my God, I'd have to look back. It's got to be about 3, maybe 4, at least 3.5 years ago. And I just really wanted to give the community a voice. I'll say everyday community. Not necessarily, you don't have to be, I always say everybody's a celebrity. Everybody's a celebrity. We think a celebrity has to be somebody that's on, in front of the camera all the time. But the truth is, we're celebrities in our own lives. We're celebrities. Many of you, no matter what the job that you do, or if you're retired or whatever the case may be, in your life, you're the celebrity of that life, period. Because we don't think of it, but celebrities, what's the difference? The differences in their life and our life is they're in front of the camera. Usually they're in front of a camera. So their image is spread over, a wide spectrum, I guess you could say. Whereas we tend to be we're I say local, meaning that we may only our celebrity, being a celebrity may be with our family or our friends, and that's, I say you're a celebrity because we all have a sphere of influence. Every last one of us has a sphere of influence. There's someone, there's a group of people. Usually it's a group. You may not think you do, but you do. There's a group that you influence. You influence how they think. You influence what they think. And whether you think you do or not, it could be your church group. It could be, I'll use, maybe you bowl. Maybe you, and I play cards. So I play, I guess I don't talk about that much, but I'm a bid whist player. Now, see, I'm going to tell you, I'm laughing because normally someone that plays bid whist and plays well, this is how they say it. Oh, I play a little bit. I play a little bit. That's how they say it. They never say I play. They don't say that. They say it very cautiously. I think it's because, well, I don't think, I know. It's because they don't want to get on that table and lose. And then they go, well, I told you I didn't really play that well. This is how I look at life and games and things like that. At any given time, you can win or you can lose. It doesn't matter. If you are the worst team in the world, you can still beat the best team in the world in that event. It happens all the time. So there is no, I play a little bit. When people say that, I always say, oh, so that's like being a little bit pregnant. Is that what you're saying? You either play or you don't play. That's it. There is no midpoint on that game. I'll speak for that game. Not now. Some games it could be a midpoint, but not on that game. You play in bid whist. No, there's no midpoint. You playing and that's it. But I laugh when I hear people say that, when they say, "Oh no, I played just a little bit." And I see Richard. Hello, Richard. Richard said, "Hello, Oliver and Mary. Hello, how are you?" So, Richard, you know what I'm talking about when I say I play a little bit of bid. You guys have never heard me say I play. I play the game. I love playing bid whist. So you'll never hear me say I play a little bit. No, I play, and then I play to win. I don't just be playing to play. I'm playing to win. Yeah. So and it's still, and every single time. I will say this about the game that I love to play. Every single time I sit down, and every single hand, I learn something. I learned something. I learned something that I didn't know about how to play. I've seen games played where I was like, what was that? I was like, what was that? And then I've seen games where I'm like, wow, that person really knows what they're doing. I recognize it. I recognize good players, and I recognize not so good players. I recognize it all. I see, but I've seen people where they didn't know what they were doing and they still won. I've seen it. And they'll tell you I didn't know what I was doing and they still won. So yeah, it just depends. There's no guarantees, ladies and gentlemen. Truthfully, there's no guarantees in anything that in life. So today I just wanted to share just some observations that I have made and are making. Oh, I have to take a note right now to write something down. I am right now writing what can I say? I'm writing a feature. Those of you, feature. If any of you saw me on the red carpet, was it 2 weeks ago now? A week ago. It was in Atlanta on the red carpet with the movie that I was in, or not was, is. It's no past tense, so it's a fact. I was in. It's called Urban Flesh Eaters. That was the first. That's my debut movie. Never been in a movie in my life. Now, some of you may know I do work, and I share that with you on productions. I do. I love that. I do. I enjoy it. But working on productions, and that doesn't, normally I'm never in the movie. Never been in a movie until this movie. And that was on, we were on set, and I was asked by one of the executive producers. They said, Mary, do you want to be in the movie? What do you think I said? And when I said no. I said, yes. And I was quiet, and I said, I'd never been in a movie. And I remember that just like it was yesterday. Now, this movie we filmed last year, by the way. We filmed August of last year, and it premiered September. Yeah. So it tells you it takes a while. It is, and let me tell you all now, so you know, you can find the movie on Apple TV. Go to Apple TV, and that's where you'll find the movie. I'm in 3 scenes. I thought I was in 2 scenes, but I'm actually in 3 scenes. But the third one is so fast, if you blink, you're gonna miss me. That's the truth. I'm the one that runs in the elevator, and I'm up against the wall, and I'm like that. That's me. So that's so you know that's the third one. So I'm in. So all the scenes that I filmed, I'm in, and they made the cut. They made it to the movie. This is what I did. I called the executive producer one day. I was talking to her. I said, "So am I on the cutting room floor?" And she started laughing. She goes, "No, Mary, you're not on the cutting room floor." I said, "Okay." So I know, you know, that used to be the thing, but now it's all the electronics. They don't do all that. But they used to actually cut the film and then put it together again. They did all that. Now we don't have to do all that. But still, I'm not on the cutting room floor. So that's a good thing. So, and another scene, let me tell you the order you'll see me in. The first one is where people think we're in an elevator. That's what it looks like, by the way. It's like I told you, the talent, quote unquote talent, they're speaking. And I'm behind. If you look right over the shoulder over one of the talents, you'll see me. That's the one scene. But it looks like we're in an elevator. You see us talking, but we're not. We're actually in a foyer. That's where we are. And there's a crowd and everything in there. Then the other scene was so I'm background. Let me tell you that right now. I'm background in that one. That's why I'm a background person. Then that was the one scene. Then the next scene that I'm in, I'm a zombie. I'm an actual zombie where you see me run in the elevator first, but you don't. I go so fast, you don't really see me in that scene. It literally, it's one of those. But I'm in there, and then the other one is when I'm in the hallway. I am a zombie. I'm coming out of the air. They open the door and all the zombies come out. So I'm one of the zombies that come out. So that's the other one. So please support this project. It is an independent film, meaning independent filmmakers made the movie. That's what that means. Independent filmmakers watch it. So it's really important that if you support it, they can make other movies. It's like anything else. They've got to, finance all of this. The 2 executive producers, I'm sorry, it's 3, not 2, it's 3 executive producers. Rob Bass, for those of you who know who Rob Bass is, he's the songwriter that wrote It Takes Two. He's one of the executive producers. Lynette J. Blackwell is another executive producer, and Pat Stevens is the executive producer. So those are the 3. But I'm proud of it, excited about it. I know some people's like, this one lady told me, she said, that doesn't even sound like you. And I think I was just telling her, I said, it's a movie. It's a movie. It does. Just watching how they're made is fan. It's a dream come true for me to just even be in this industry. And I don't know if I share with you guys, because my son, those of you who know our sons, we have a lot of sons. But anyway, one of the sons said to me, he said, "Mom, do you have a IMBD?" Remember, I think I told you guys that. I can't remember. And I said, yeah, I have IMBD. And he said, which means that you have credits. That's what that means. And he's looking. This was one day in his kitchen. He lives in Atlanta, and he's talking to me again. And then he turns around again. And he says, "Mom, do you have an IMBD?" And I said, I'm thinking, didn't I just say I had IMBD? And he goes, "No, I mean, do you really have an IMBD?" I'm laughing now because all I kept thinking was, what part of yes, I have IMBD? And he said, "No, I'm serious." It's not funny, but I just kept thinking, Didn't I just say I have that? And he said, well, Mom, I just want to know right now. And I'm thinking, what did I just say? He kept asking, and finally, he asked, yes, I'm telling you, I'm not kidding. I don't know how many times he said that. Then finally, he said, I'm going to ask you this one more time. And I said, I have an IMBD. He got quiet and I got quiet. And I thought, what is going on here? And he said, Mom, you have credits. I said, son, how many times have I been down here working on movie sets? And I think you're finally realizing I'm really working on movie sets. That's what I think. I think the reality of it finally sunk in. That's what I think. Because he kept saying, and then I think he looked me up. I think he did. I think he saw it or something like that. But he just said, I think it was just unbelievable. But yes, I have an IMBD. I have credits. Thank goodness. I mean, it's not even where Richard said, I heard you say I love playing beer with. Can you tell, Richard? Oh, I have so much fun. And I'm changing the subject with Richard, but what I really love, Richard, is playing with people who love to play. And let me say this too, then we going back to beer with, ladies and gentlemen. I love to play with people who know how to lose. I'm saying that. Everybody don't know how to lose. They don't. People. And Richard's talking. Let me tell you this quick story about beer with. I'm going back, but that's okay. I digress. Let me tell you why. The first time you played me, did I really? Richard, did I set you? Okay. I don't even remember. You would remember. I don't even remember. I don't even remember. I thought, Richard, you're going to say I ran a Boston on you. That's what I thought you was going to say. Oh, is it shony, grainy, and then it clears up? Wow. I'm glad you said that, Oliver. I don't know. If that's the camera, it shouldn't be. Am I grainy now? I don't know. Okay. I hope I don't. What causes that? What I can do, Oliver, is I can put in, it's at the end and let the people over this system, let them know that it's showing grainy. I'll let them know. Nanette said, my son, it's hilarious. Nanette, I sat there when he said that. I kept thinking, and he kept asking. That's what I couldn't get over. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm saying yes. He knows. This is what's interesting. He knows I go and work on movie sets. But this is what occurred to me, Annette. He's never seen it. He only hears me say it. He only hears me say the words. He's never been on a set where I was working. He's never said. And then I came, about 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago? Yeah. And I was there, but I didn't stay at his house. I stayed with our nephew at his house. And he was like, well, Mom, I want you to stay with me. And I said, son, the set is over an hour and away from you. It was like an hour and 15 minutes from you. But I was 30 minutes from the set at my nephew's house. I said, I'm staying with the nephew. I said, because when I finish working, I'm tired. I don't need to be driving an hour. I definitely don't need to be behind the wheel for an hour because I was literally, when I tell you, exhausted. But let me say this. It is a good exhaustion. Ladies and gentlemen, I could be working 20 hours and I would have been happy. To be working on a movie set and being in a creative environment and you're creative, that is like, wow. It was so exhilarating. It really was. I'll tell all of you it was exhilarating. 40 years ago. Oh, it'll come back. That's what I always tell people that haven't played for a while. Nanette. If you haven't played in a long time, don't worry. It's like, I always say it's like riding a bike. When you haven't played, it'll come back. The fact that you have played and know how to play, it'll come. All it is the repetition of it, and it comes back. But yes, so let me tell you, was it that story about, but then now I think he believes me now. I think so, because we were at the premiere, and it's not that he didn't believe me. I know he believed me, but he had never seen me at a set. Like in education, my children saw me in a classroom. You know what I mean? They saw it with their own eyes. Oh, she's a teacher. I say I'm a teacher, but they hadn't. But then they have seen me teach, and all those. That's different. In this industry, they don't really see what I do. They know what I do. That's totally different. And even then, I've been. These are the areas I can work in. I can be a PA. That's a production assistant. I can be crafty. For those of you who know what crafty is, that's the person that makes sure all the snacks. I'm not the caterer. The caterer and crafty are two different things. The caterer does meals. I do the snacks. That's my job. What else have I been? Crafty. Now I've been background on a set. I've also been, what else have I been? I'm a writer, but I haven't, not as, my movie will be coming out next year. Now I'm professing it. I haven't got the green light on it yet or anything like that. I'm professing next year that one of the movies I've written will be picked up and we will start production next year. I like talking like that. Now I haven't seen nothing yet, but we're gonna say, but it's gonna happen. And you said, "Oh, you don't see me. I don't look grainy." Okay, good. Thank you, Nanette. Thank you. So, and it could be, I don't know. It was zooming in and out. Maybe that would have caused. I don't know. But the feel. Let me say this to all of you, and I'm speaking to me too. I thought. I honestly said this not too long. I thought I was getting too old for this industry. Is it clearer now, Oliver? You cleared up? Let's see what our executive producer said. Thank you, babe. So yes, I thought I was getting too old. That's what I thought, ladies and gentlemen. I thought, well, you're getting up, as they say, you're getting up there, as they like to put it. But I said, well, maybe I'm getting too old for this. Maybe I need to not try to be in this industry. But this is what I learned. And what I came to terms with. I was doing it to myself. Nobody was doing it to me. I did. I was doing it. I was saying, am I getting too old? That's what I was saying. But the truth is, how can I be too old to be a writer? Can't be too old to do that. You can't even be too old to do crafty. You're handing out snacks all day. It's not like you. You're what's called below the line. That's what that's called. I'm below the line. So you can never be too old for that. I don't even know. I'm sure you may be production assistant, maybe only because you're running around. You're doing a lot of running, but then that may not matter either. You're doing whatever needs to be done to make that a good production. That's pretty much what you're doing. Background, you need people of all ages to do background. So I was doing it to myself. Nobody was doing it to me. And so I had to get myself together and get real and just go in and be okay with, you know what? You're definitely not going to get any younger. So you have an opportunity to go forth and do what you want to do, then do that. Do that. If it's production assistant, I'll be honest. Now I realize I would like to learn what to do to be a producer. There's two things. Oh, I forgot. The other one was casting assistant. That's what I forgot to mention. I've been a casting assistant. So I've been a casting assistant, a PA, crafty, all these things that I've been, background I've been. So I'm now building a resume that now I'm not just that one, as they say, quote unquote, one trick pony, not anymore. I've been on enough productions that now I can go on a production and do any of those jobs. But the casting, you don't have to be on the site to do that. Casting can be done off site. So you can do it without, being physically there. Production assistant, I'd have to be at the set. Crafty, of course, you have to be at the set. All these are set jobs. That means on set. So, but background, of course, but not the two that you do not have to be there is if you're the writer. You don't have to be on set if you wrote that production because they're going to take it and interpret it anyway. And you don't have to be on set if you're casting. Those are two. That's I don't want to say that. I shouldn't say that because if you're casting, you may be on set because I've been on set as casting. So I can't say you Yes, you may be on set. I've been a casting assistant. I haven't cast anything. I've assisted the casting director directly. I was one of her assistants. And I was on a couple of casting as a casting assistant. Those are just to be in those positions is as you know, it's a dream come true. It's a dream come true for me. So I would tell anybody, I've always wanted to get into this industry. I actually did not know how. I didn't know how do you get in? And as they say, you get in where you fit in. Maybe that's the case, but how do you fit in? How do you uh, make it happen? And because truthfully, there's so many jobs. There's so many uh, jobs that, like, I don't have to tell you. As the credits roll at the end, don't look at a big production. Some of those productions, I mean, I've seen them where it looks like it's 1,000 people up there. Now, that when you see them, no matter what the production is, everyone is not there the same day at the same time. To be honest with you, many times the talent may not be there. They may or may not be there. It depends on if they're in that scene or not. And if they're not in that scene, they may not be there. It's so many variables that are involved in a production. It's a lot. I mean, you have the costume department, you have the makeup department, and it's usually makeup and hair. That department. You have you have the transportation department. So you have people that their only job is to transport people to the set. That's their job, to make sure that talent gets from usually the hotel to the set. That's a job. I know it's you may think that these are quote unquote jobby jobs. They're jobby jobs. I promise you that. They're real jobs, and they employ people, they keep people, paying their bills and everything else. But the only ones we see on screen are the talent. It's the only ones you see. That's it. But behind every production, behind that camera is more jobs than there are in front of that camera. That's the facts. So when you see the director, behind that director, getting my throat, is tons of people, but they have all kinds of jobs. And there's all kinds of unions associated with those jobs. It's not just the jobs, there's unions that are associated with the job. So in addition to the job, there's unions. So, I mean, there's electrical unions, there's carpenter unions, there's all kinds of people that this is, they belong to unions to support those positions. So it's a lot, but it just fascinates me. And I think a lot of my fascination is because I've had another career. I've had a career where pretty much stable, I will tell you that, whereas this is a creative career where you're working per project. So as one project, many people, I've seen people finish working with us, and depending on what the movie was, and they tell me they're flying out that night, and they have to be at for another project the next morning. I'm like, wow. I said tonight. I'm looking at them like, yep. He said, my flight leaves 10 o'clock at night. I have a red eye and I'm going to work on another project. And I realized they have to be like that because they got bills. So it just depends. And so I've met a sound guy on a project, and he told me, he said, I leave here. That's the man I'm talking about. And he said, I will leave here tonight, and I have to be, I think he was on his way then to Australia to work on a movie. He didn't say which one. They usually don't say which ones they're working on. They just know, they just tell you this is a project that they're working on. Sometimes they will, though. I've had some tell me I'm working on such and such. And then I will see their movie on, and I look, there they are in the credits. I've seen it. So I know. So I would tell you, if I'm using me and this, it doesn't have to be this for you. Whatever your this is. I've talked to people, I want to write a bestseller. Okay. Have you started writing? And then I've heard people say, well, I don't want to write because I want to write it, but I'm not ready to write. I've heard all kinds of things. I would tell you, there's no, as I said, I've said this time and time again, there is no magic. There's no magic. I started in this, and what I do now, I started as a volunteer. That's how I started. Now I'm compensated for my time. So I will tell you that's how I started. I had to first show that I was dependable. I was reliable. If they're doing something, I had to get there early. And not complain. That's another thing. They don't play that in that industry. They do not play. You come there complaining, you will not have a job. You don't have to worry. They'll show you to that gate so quick and fast and in a hurry. They do not hear it. I don't care what's going on. They don't want to hear it. They're there to finish that project. End of story. And all of your, as they call it, belly aching, they will belly ache you right off that set. Because now, and I do understand why, negative energy is real. This is some real stuff. And you're talking to we call them actors. That's what we lay people call them, but they're called talent in the business. And when they're in their zone, they don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear nothing. They're there to do a job. That is their job, for you to believe that they are that character. They don't have time for that. I've watched people. I've seen it. I've seen people get fired. I've seen it, and to see it, I'm sitting there looking on. I did a wow. They said we can't have that, and they were so nice and so quiet and so respectful. If I had not been near and heard, I wouldn't have known. But they showed the person off the set and told security, do not take their name off the approval list to come on set. And I'm sitting here going, as they say, wide-eyed. Because it's real. Think about it. Negative energy. That all the person did was speak negativity. And they let them go. And then you know what they did? They got on the phone and got somebody else. Now, when I tell you, as the person's walking, they call in another person to take that job. And the next person was there within 5 hours. I forget where they were coming, another county or something. I don't know. All I know is they brought somebody else in to do that person's job by a phone call. Can you do X, Y, and Z? Yep, well, I'm on my way. That's it. So all of that that person, because of their mouth, lost the job. And as they're walking them to the gate, the other person behind them is bringing them their last paycheck and handing it to them on the way out. Now, do you think they're going to ever hire that person to do anything else? No, they're not. They're not going to do it because they have shown they can't be trusted. They can't be trusted. That's the real deal. So if that's what I'm speaking for this industry. Now, I'm not out here building bridges or anything like that. That's not something I even want to do anyway. But if it's something you want to do, the key is, this is what I have learned. First, what is it? That's the key. Think about this. This is really big stuff because I'm convinced. What is it you want to do? If you know that one thing, you're halfway there. Isn't that crazy? What does it say in the Bible, ladies and gentlemen? You guys know. You have not because you ask not. You have not because you ask not. Wow. That's deep. So I just started asking. I started talking about, what I couldn't do and stop putting limits on myself. You said, I am one of those people that enjoys watching the production credits. I do too, Nanette. When I tell you, Oliver, for years, at every single time, he would say to me, Do you know anybody up there? And I'm like, not one person. This is what's interesting in that. He said, it used to be to see familiar names. You had a few friends who worked productions, but mostly who has my last name. Nanette, I'm gonna tell you why. I did not know I was putting my name up there. It took me a long time to figure that out. I watch them, but I didn't know that's because one day I wanted to see my name up there. And now it's up there. And now it's up there. It is up there. I would tell anybody. I just I looked at when they ran the credits for Urban Flesh Eaters, and I saw my name. I'm like, wow. I would say wowee. No, I say wow because that was what I never really knew. Think about what I'm saying. I didn't know that I was always looking to have my name up there, but I didn't know that that's why I was doing it. I didn't know that. I thought I didn't even know if I could. I didn't even know. Like I said at the very beginning, I didn't know what do you do? How do you get into this industry? But we have a granddaughter. She's in school now to be an actress. And I'm thinking, and you're gonna make a living doing that. But she is. And I thought, isn't this, but the difference is now, to me, the world we live in today is not the world I grew up in. The one I grew up in, you either had to work in New York or LA for film. You were limited by if you're auditioning, and that was, that was it. The independent filmmakers did not exist. Remember, at that time, a camera to make a movie would be $200,000 or $300,000, just the camera, not paying anybody else. So that you were limited. Now, as many of you know, they're filming on iPhones. I'm working with filming on my iPhone, and just that alone has changed the game. You no longer have to wait. As I've said this how many times? There are no more barriers to entry. You can do as I'm doing. You can have your own podcast. You can have your own show. As you know, with Issa Rae, that's how she started. And now, when she started initially, was with I think the HBO. They ended up paying her $40 million. Not bad for somebody that started. That's how they started making shorts on on social media. Right now, Country Wayne. Those of you know Country Wayne. I worked on a set with Country Wayne. Very nice man, by the way. Extremely, extremely nice man. Very religious, also Christian-based gentleman. But anyway, there's in his story. He started. Now he has millions of followers. I want to say 10 million. I don't know. The numbers are astronomical. Followers. In addition to that, he also has the followers. Now he has a book out. He has from his show, the people on his show now have their own shows. I think that is, and they all have their own followings. I've watched his show. I haven't been able to catch up with the other show, but one of the other talent or actors on his show is Mike Bess, and he is, or Bless, I think it's Bless, and he just had back surgery, I think. So, and Mike, I've definitely been saying prayers for you if you happen to watch the show. I really have. I'm not just saying that. When I heard you were having surgery, I had no idea you even had back pains until you mentioned it. And that was in the last week. I think he had back surgery. So our heart and prayers go out to you, Mike. I know you, that's a lot to endure. So anyway, yes. And I think Mike has his own show, and about 3 or 4 or 5 of the other people have their own shows now. So I just think it's wonderful, but there's no more barriers to entry. They make the shows and they upload them. If you have an idea for a show, make the show and upload it. There's not, and what I say, there's no more barriers to entry. You can start your own series. You can make your own show. You can even act in it yourself if you want to do that, or you can have actors. I was at an event Saturday, and a lady told me she's interested in being in my production in the movie. And I may start with a short. I just may, just because to film. I just may start with a short, just to get, it's like to get the willies out. I guess that's what you could say. Do you want to get I say the willies, to get them out. But this is what I've said this often, and it's true. The hardest part is to start. That's the hardest part. Whatever it is, whether it's you say you want to go back to school, but you haven't applied. You haven't filled out the application, but you keep talking about it. Time is ticking for all of us. So that's what I would encourage. If you want, I don't care what it is you want to do. It doesn't matter. I have to write this down because I'm telling you, I have to write everything down because next thing you know, I'll forget that I even said it. Oh, and I'm just like, okay, Lord, I pray to keep my mental faculties. I know you may say I'm joking, but I'm really not. I'm serious about that because that's real stuff there. So, but let me go back and see, because I'm saying this to all of you guys, but I don't know what that is that you may want to do. I don't know. And it may not be any, you may say, well, I don't really have anything I want to do, which is fine. I think even that's fine. It's only if there is. You said there was a teacher in my high school at Gary, Indiana, named Nanette Mitchell. She taught honors, so you know she was smart. So Nanette, there's somebody else with your name. Wow. Now, wouldn't it be funny if that's the same Nanette? Wouldn't that be them? Thanks, Richard Nichols. I know. That would be funny. That really would be funny if it was the same person. I tell you, one of my teachers is from San Diego, and we are Facebook friends. I tell you, but and if I think if there isn't anything, that's fine. So I think that's when you're there, it's a good place to be too. I just knew in my heart there was something else. I just didn't know how to get there. And the books are just one of those avenues of getting there. Is writing the book. Like I said, writing this movie, this feature. I may end up writing a short, which is short is about 15 to 20 pages. Right, more like probably 15, 18 pages. I'll say that. Writing that, having the talent, let them know that we're going to do this short. And I need, only to do that, let me see, about probably 6 to do that one. So we'll see. And I think that may be one to get the willies. That's what I call the willies out of this, of me, really. That's what it is, to get them out of me. But then again, you have to be patient with this business too. This is not an overnight thing by a long shot. It is not. It is very much take your time and you're honing your craft. Very much that. What I have noticed though, when you work with people for so long, you become a family. That intimacy is very real. If you look at Tyler Perry's projects, you see the same people. If you look at Tyler Perry's, I see the same, what's the lady's name? That's the casting assistant on every one of his projects. She is, and I'm without even knowing the lady, I guarantee you she started with him when he was starting out. And she's been with him ever since. And then he just tells her, here's the script, and we need these characters. That's how it is. And he knows he can depend on her. He knows he can. So he doesn't have to worry about it. I can't call her name right now. Kim Taylor Coleman, I think it is. But I know it's Kim, I think it's Kim Taylor Coleman. That's off the top of my head. Don't quote me on that. But and then the other lady is Raven. I can't remember her last name. And she does the background casting and the like when you go to let's say they're doing a restaurant scene, you need people to be in that restaurant. They don't just show up. Those people in the background get paid. Excuse me. Sorry about that. They get paid. So they're there for a reason. They get hired to be there for that day or whatever, however it is. It could be for a couple of weeks, but their background. You have to have background people. Got to. Just like anything else. You have a hospital and there's nobody else. There's nobody walking by in the background. No, you got to have people walking. That's not realistic. There are people walking and answering the phone and doing things, talking to people in the hallway. That's realistic. That's why you have to have those people. So you have people that's their job, is to make sure that there are people in the background. That's real. So I think maybe that's what I want to do. I'm still trying to figure that out. Ladies and gentlemen, I am still, as they say, I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do when I grow up. Think about that. But on this journey, I am so thankful and grateful for this. I'm so thankful and grateful. If I never, the one reason that Oliver and I went to the premiere, I started thinking about it. I said, you don't know when you're going to do this again? You don't know. There's no way to know. So I would tell anybody, when you get these kind of opportunities, don't belittle them. Don't look, because I said, woo, I get to be in a movie. I was just honored to be asked to be in it. That they thought of me, and I'll be in a movie. Yes. Because as they say, put me in, coach. Put me in, coach. I thought about taking acting classes. I haven't done it yet, but I thought about doing it. I said, maybe you should take a couple of acting classes and learn. This is a craft. And nobody knows it all. As many of you know, I had Martin Morrow, who was a guest on the show. And those of you that don't know who he is, if you see the commercial where the guy sticks his hand in the guacamole and they say, how do you sleep at night? And he goes, I sleep really good at night. Now he's in the Geico commercial. I just saw him yesterday in the Geico commercial. And I texted him. I said, just saw you on TV in the Geico commercial. He goes, oh, thank you. And I was sitting up there thinking, I said, and I was telling my husband, I said, every time that commercial runs, he gets paid. That's how it works. So that commercial, I don't know how. I do know that when the guacamole commercial ran a lot. I don't know about the Geico commercial. I've seen it twice, I think, on the Geico commercial. I never even thought about, what if you tried out for commercials? Never crossed my mind. But you never know. We are 60 miles outside of LA. I guess one reason I haven't, like I said before at the very beginning, I really want to focus on getting uno movie. Not 10 movies, not 20 movies. I'm going to go with one movie. And one good movie. That's really what and one movie I can watch with my grandchildren without having to cover their eyes up and don't look at this and don't look at that. I don't want to watch a movie like that. I'm thinking about writing a romance, which is totally different. I haven't written a romance. I've written a couple of family movies, but nothing romantic. So that's what I'm leaning toward now, is a romance. It's something romantic. So we'll see. I'm excited about that because it's such a different thing for me. It's very different. That's an area I just haven't delved into. But I do think it would be a good one. I do. I just think romance. Now I just gotta to get it together. So I'm actually writing this afternoon. I'll be writing. And yeah. So I'm excited for that. So whatever it is you want to do, I am gonna. I'm gonna share this with you guys first. A couple things. One, some of you may or may not know, I'm starting Mary D's Insiders. Okay, but it'll be at the top of the emails, and those of you that received the text, it said coming soon, Mary D's Insiders. That is coming soon. Working with the well, it's a virtual assistant right now, and we're working out the kinks. That's pretty much it right now. We're just getting it ready to. The goal is I'd like to come out very soon, really, but it will. The other thing is I'm gonna do another anthology. I haven't done an anthology in 2 years. The anthology is Reflections. The first one was Transformations. Now the next one is Reflections. So it's almost like every other year I do an anthology. Now, if you know what an anthology is, it's a group of writers, a group of authors, and we put them all into one book. And the previous book had, I want to say 14 authors. That's what I want to say. 14 authors. I don't know how many this one will have. I haven't sent out the email to find out who would be interested. And you can have, the first one was 1,500 words, 1,500 words. I think I'm going to increase it to 2,000 words on this one. And the reason being is because some people said that they felt kind of limited. So I'm going to go up a little bit to 500. I'm sorry. Yeah. So now your submissions can be up to 2,000 words. Now, if you have poems, as long as your word count doesn't exceed the 2,000, that's fine. So you can have, now what happened at the last book or the last anthology, if you have a lot of poems, then we may put your poem, you may just need to have your own book. That's what it is too. Let me see. So you'll see an email go out to come to a free workshop. It'll probably be not this Friday coming, the following Friday. I think that's October 10th. I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm not looking at the map. Here, I'm looking at what time, let me look at the calendar. I don't want to tell you the wrong date. It is October 10th. So I'm going to be doing a webinar for those of you interested on October 10th. I don't know what time yet. So don't worry, you'll get an email and a text and all that fun stuff. It'll say October 10th. Now this one, I think you have to pay for this one though. This is different. It won't be a lot, but yeah, we'll see. I haven't decided yet because it takes time to organize. I know you guys think, oh, she just pops up with this stuff. No, it doesn't work like that. But if you're interested in getting your book, let's say you have an interest in having your name as an author and you're a contributing author to this project, then you can come. And it'll be October the 10th. I just don't know what time. I'm leaning toward probably like, let's say 7 in the evening. The reason I say that is so that people can get home from work and put dinner on the table, that kind of thing. And then they can come to that. It will only last an hour. You don't need more than that. You need more than, I don't think you need more than that. So it's probably like about an hour. This is, what did you say, Richard? I'm just looking here. You said you want to grow up first. You need to quit, Richard. You need to quit. Hi, Antonio. Hi, Antonio. I noticed I didn't see you today. You said, how are you? And then how's Antonio and how's Lori? Antonio's mom. So if you have a short story, if you have poetry, if you have, it could be part of something you've already written, and then you might be interested in being in this anthology. And let me also include in the anthology, your picture is in there, and I always have like a bio about you, and then your works go in there. It is a very excellent keepsake for your family and friends. The previous one we did Transformations. people were telling me they were family and friends were buying it just because they were in it with their picture. They were buying it. So if this is something you're interested in, I've not even put the word out. Well, I'll have it out probably by this week. That's what I'm thinking. You only really need a week to let people know. I don't want to be so far ahead. Next thing you know, people go, no, it's too, they can't do it. But I can tell you now, just so you all know, it will be soon. It'll be October 10th. I can tell you the date. It's October 10th. And you would, you'll find all the information out at that webinar. Even doing the webinar, I think it's like $29 to come to the webinar, something like that to come. It's not going to be too exorbitant because I always try to keep everything reasonably priced. And what I really do is what I think about what I would want to pay to come and find out about it. Because some people feel better about having their materials with other authors as opposed to by themselves. And this is an opportunity to do that. So I just want to share that you guys getting a scoop today. You getting the firsthand information. I haven't even put that out yet. I haven't put that out about reflections yet. Oh, and this is, I see. Oh, dog. It was dog. I was just thinking of you when I was talking. I was just about to tell the audience about how I saw you at church yesterday. It was a blessing to see you too. Doll, it was so nice to see you. So Doll, I'm gonna tell you, she's in transformations. She sure is. So now I mentioned it to Doll yesterday. I said, Doll, the next one is called Reflections. I just talked about it. So she's one of the first people that heard about Reflections. And it'll be out. What is this? October. It won't be out by Christmas. Let me say that. I wish I could say it was, but it's not. It takes time to do all these things. It does take time. Let me tell you, all of you, that I'm not going to lie to you. It takes time. It takes focus. But you have deadlines. Let me say this I'm kind of giving you a little information now, but you will not, what I like about when they did the transformations, everybody knew their deadlines. You had to send a rough draft in, but you have to send your picture in, your rough draft in, everything like that. It's very much a process. Now could we get that out by Christmas? I don't even want to say that. Because honestly, this is October. I'm gonna say no. That's what I'm gonna say. Because I'm thinking about in my mind, think time. I'm gonna say no, just straight up, because people are gonna ask, "Can you get out by Christmas?" No, it's too much to do and have it ready by Christmas. I'm just gonna be honest, it's too much. So our goal is to have it to you by. I don't want to say a deadline, but it's October. It takes about, I'm going to say 6 months. Easily. Yeah. That's a better window. Now, I may be able to get it done sooner, but I don't want to make that promise, and I don't want to stress myself out trying to make that promise. So I'd rather just tell you that. Yeah, you can get it done it takes about 6 months. Yeah. We'll see. That's how I'll put it. But if you are interested, you can text me. Those of you saw the text number scrolling across the bottom. If you text to that number, I'll get the text. So you text to that number, the 951-477-5077, and your name, your email, and your cell, and put anthology, and you do that. Like I said, I'm going to send out a flyer, and you'll be able to sign up. And when you sign up, it'll be the $29. That's pretty much what I'm guessing. Something like it won't be a lot, but it'll be. And let me tell you why. Then I know you're serious. That's why. The last time I did, I must admit, was it for books? I can't remember now. But anyway, over 100, I think I told you guys, over 100 people showed up. We had to have a second session because so many people couldn't get in the first session. So, which was nothing wrong with that. But I think sometimes people just sign up to see and they're not serious. But I think $29.95 was very reasonable. And there now you can sign up and really, and now I know you're serious. That's what it is. As they say, you're putting your money where your mouth is. That's all. Ladies, gentlemen, I know I such and keep in. Thank you for coming today. I will see you next Monday at the same time, same location. God bless each and every one of you, and may all your dreams come true. All right. Bye, everybody.